Dreamland by Julia E. Clements. Narrated by Kae Denino. Chapter 1. The Birthday Present. Danny cried out in his sleep as he plummeted down through the dark, inky blackness toward a single point of light that grew steadily brighter as he got closer. Suddenly, he plunged out of the shadows into dazzling sunlight and saw that he was standing next to the old, gnarled oak at the bottom of the garden. In its sturdy branches above him was the treehouse his dad had made so carefully 2 summers before. He looked up at the familiar wooden chalet with its slanting roof, fake chimney and trapdoor entrance, remembering how his dad had warned him not to light any fires, joking that the fire brigade was busy enough as it was. A thick rope hung down from the treehouse, swinging gently to and fro in a non-existent breeze, inviting him to climb up. He didn't want to go. The nightmare always began this way, appearing to be like any normal dream and then rapidly turning into panic-filled horror. But, just like every other time, he had no choice. He moved automatically towards the rope and began to climb the tree, using some pieces of wood that had been nailed into the trunk as footholds. As he climbed, he passed the sign he'd written himself in bright red paint. The Snug, Oak Tree Top, Garden's End, Rootling, and the empty post box nailed below it. He glanced down and quickly wished he hadn't. The tree trunk seemed to be rushing away from the ground at an astonishing rate. The garden no longer visible through the swirling clouds below him. He grasped onto the rope, his head spinning, and determinedly carried on, climbing. Finally, gasping for breath, he reached the trapdoor, pushed it open with one hand, and hauled himself up into his treehouse. All of his things were where he had left them, and nothing was out of place. Yet he felt oddly uneasy, as if someone or something had been there recently. He stepped into the middle of the room that had been built around the tree trunk and sneezed as he brushed into some long gray cobwebs dangling down from the ceiling. Disgusted, he frantically slapped his face to get rid of the sticky strands that had wrapped themselves around his head. He realized that everything was very quiet. Too quiet. There was not a single sound. No birds singing, no insects buzzing and droning in the branches of the oak. He tiptoed over to a window and looked out. There in the distance was the enormous, menacing black cloud, moving swiftly across the sky, as usual. Suddenly, the bright day turned dark as the cloud passed in front of the sun. Danny held his breath in trepidation, his heart thumping. He could hear the rope outside creaking as if someone was climbing up it, towards the open trap door in the floor. He hoped that this time it was his dad, coming to take him back to the house for his tea, even though he knew it was impossible. That his dad would never again come through the trap door. A scream built up in his throat as a dark, shadowy figure glided into the treehouse and slowly turned around. 2 piercing red eyes glowered at him, as bright as burning coals. The specter glided towards Danny, its long black cloak swishing around its feet. Terrified, he stumbled backwards until he could feel the wooden wall of the chalet behind him, and he had nowhere left to run. This was the point where he usually woke up, the specter melting away as he sat up in bed with his eyes wide open in fright. But this time it was different. This time the specter continued to advance until he could see the vapor from its fetid breath just a few inches from his face. His frightened scream reverberated around the treehouse as a long, skeletal hand reached out and slowly beckoned to him. At the same time, an enormous swirling vortex of air appeared above the trapdoor, spinning violently. The treehouse started to disintegrate, and Danny
Sample complete. Ready to continue?